All right, let's talk about one of humanity's biggest, oldest dreams, living forever. But I'm not talking about myths or magic. We're diving into a future that technology might just make possible. Let's get right into it.
So, could technology actually make you immortal? I know it sounds like something straight out of a sci fi movie, right? But some of the biggest minds in tech are convinced we're right on the edge of making this a reality. The real questions are, how would it even work? And maybe more importantly, should we even do it?
Well, there's one man who is absolutely certain the answer is yes. His name is Ray Kurzweil. And this guy is a legend. He's an inventor, a futurist at Google. Even Bill Gates called him the best person I know at predicting the future of artificial intelligence. And Kurzweil's biggest prediction? It could literally change what it means to be human.
Okay, so what's the actual promise here? What's he talking about? This isn't just about, adding a few extra years to our lives. No, this is way bigger. We're talking about a complete redefinition of life itself.
This quote from him just says it all, doesn't it? For him, this is a personal mission. It's about beating our biggest biological problem, death. The whole idea is to just hang on, stay alive long enough for the technology to catch up, and then boom, you're on the forever train.
And this is the key idea that could make it all happen. It's called longevity escape velocity. Think of it like a race. Right now, Kurzweil says for every year we live, medical science gives us about 4 extra months of life. So we're losing the race. But he thinks that by 2032, not that far away, for every year you live, science will give you more than a year back. At that point, you've done it. You've escaped. You're basically immortal, as long as you don't, walk in front of a bus.
So, the big question is, how do we get there? Well, Kurzweil has a roadmap, and you might be surprised at how specific it is.
Okay, buckle up, because here's the timeline. He says by 2029, we'll have AGI. That's artificial general intelligence, an AI that's as smart as a human expert in like every field. Then, get this, in the 2030s, tiny little nanobots will connect our brains straight to the cloud. And it all leads to the big one, 2045, the singularity. That's the moment we humans fully merge with AI and our intelligence just explodes. Now, what's really important to get here is that the singularity isn't some us versus them robot apocalypse, not at all. In Kurzweil's future, we are the machines. It's a total fusion. The line between human and AI just blurs away, creating a kind of future that, honestly, we can't even really imagine right now.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This sounds wild, right? Pure fantasy. But before you write it off, you gotta look at his track record. Kurzweil claims he's been 86% accurate on predictions he made way back in 1999 for the year 2009. And that number, that's why people in Silicon Valley listen when he talks. They take him very, very seriously. But not everyone is buying it. So let's switch gears for a second. The first big challenge to this idea doesn't actually come from scientists or engineers. It comes from a much older place, philosophy and theology. And they're asking a really fundamental question. Is living forever in a computer the same thing as, eternity? And when you dig into that, you see 2 totally different ideas of forever. Kurzweil's version, this digital immortality, is actually finite. Weird, right? The universe only has so many possible combinations of bits. So eventually, your digital life would just start repeating. It's like a cosmic playlist on a loop. Compare that to the traditional religious idea, where eternity is this infinite, unending path of growth. It's not a closed loop, it's an open road that goes on forever. And that brings up the ultimate problem, really. Even if you upload your brain, you're still stuck in this universe, playing by its rules. The philosopher Bertrand Russell pointed this out. Any physical thing is eventually going to end when the universe itself dies out. So from that point of view, digital immortality isn't really immortality at all. It's just hitting the snooze button on extinction. Okay, so that's the big philosophical debate. But there's another group of critics, a growing one, who are much more focused on the here and now. And they're saying that Kurzweil's vision isn't just a little off. It's dangerously out of touch with the real world. And yeah, some of these critics do not hold back. One security researcher, Nathan Hamill, basically called it the ramblings of an aging gentleman confronted with his mortality. Ouch! He's arguing it's not really about science, it's just wishful thinking from someone who's afraid to die. So what about that 86% accuracy claim? Well, if you look a little closer, it starts to look a bit shaky. I mean, sure, he totally nailed things like smartwatches and fitness trackers. We have those. But he was also really, really wrong about some big ones. World peace? Nope. Average life expectancy over 100? Not yet. Self-driving cars everywhere? Definitely not. The truth is, his track record is much more of a mixed bag.
The core argument from critics is that Kurzweil's techno-utopia just ignores how messy the real world is. Like, he says vertical farming will make food almost free, but today we can't even grow berries affordably that way. He assumes technology just marches forward on its own, completely forgetting about things like politics or people pushing back. And some of his economic takes, well, they just seem totally disconnected. Saying stagnant wages are fine because we can buy more compute power, that just doesn't resonate with most people's daily struggles.
And this quote from Nathan Hamill again just hits the nail on the head. When you can't pay your bills, downtime isn't leisure time. You know, Kurzweil might see the gig economy and think, oh, look at all that leisure time. But for millions of people, that downtime is just stress. It's unpaid time spent worrying. It really shows the huge gap between the Silicon Valley dream and how most of us actually live. So where does that leave us?
Well, we've got two completely different pictures of the future. On one side, you've got this incredible utopian dream of moving beyond our biology. And on the other, you have a pretty stark warning that this whole dream might just be a dangerous delusion.
Let's look at the promise again. It's a future where we beat disease, we beat aging, we maybe even beat death itself. A future where we literally become superhuman, with our minds connected to the cloud, 1,000,000 times smarter than we are today. But then there's the other side of the coin, the risk. What happens to us in all this? To our identity, to our humanity? If we start swapping out all our biological parts for digital ones, what's left? Are you still you? And that really brings us to the final and maybe most important question. The conversation is shifting away from can we do this to should we do this? So I'll leave you with this. If the price for living forever is your humanity, is that a price you're willing to pay?